Today we're talking about the finals, melee weapons, right? First of all, each melee weapon has a special attack that you can do by aiming. Each melee weapon has combos by using bash attacks in your melee chains and also special attacks. And each melee weapon has loadouts. In this video, I'm going to be going over the loadout, special attacks, combos, everything you need to know about every melee weapon in the finals, and then at the end I will rank the melee weapons. The first melee weapon, the dagger. The dagger has its special attack to backstab opponents. If you hit them normally, you do 50 damage, and the basic hit also does 50 damage. The bash attack on every weapon in the game does 40, so the dagger definitely has very low damage and also has very low range. But if you hit someone in the back with the special attack, you do really high damage, one-shotting the light class, medium class, and getting the heavy class low enough to be killed by a basic attack or a bash. The loadout I would recommend is a normal loadout with the stun gun and the glitch grenade. The last slot in your gadgets doesn't really matter, and as your main ability, the evasive dash. I've seen people use invisibility and it can be good, but I think disengaging and re-engaging with evasive dash is definitely much more satisfying and gets much more kills.
I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Going on to the next weapon, we have the sword, probably the most picked melee weapon in the game. This is also in the light class, and you want basically the same loadout and with the evasive dash. The unique attack on the sword is a thrust that does 82.5 damage, which is quite high, it's quite quick, and you can one-shot a light by doing the thrust and then doing a bash attack. The thrust does last quite a while, so it's very easy to hit opponents with it, since the hitbox lingers for quite a while. But then, of course, if you already hit an opponent and the hitbox is still out, you're wasting time. So what you want to do is you can animation cancel or bash to stop this long hitbox from lasting. And so you can one-shot lights with that. You can do the lunge elbow twice on heavies to kill them. You can also use dashes while you're doing the special attack to get more reach, and this also allows you to hit opponents and then fly away from them, so hopefully they can't hit you back. And the sword's very powerful, I would recommend in most situations using just a thrusting attack, but if they're low health, doing the basic attack can be good. But the basic attack only does 42.5 damage, which is really low, but it is very quick and has a decent hitbox and a very simple moveset of just slashes. So you're going to hit opponents almost every time. It's just very good on weak opponents. For mediums, you can just do the basic slash, the stab and the elbow to kill them. But that's a pretty weird combo, since the elbow and the stab, it's like a delay before you can do the slash. So with mediums, you just mainly spam slashes or stabs.
Riot Shield. What else am I gonna
Oh, Riot Shield! I'm a pussy that use Riot Shield!
Oh, I'm a
Our next weapon is the Riot Shield. It does 68 damage per hit, and it's one of the slowest hitting melee weapons in the game. But it does have a quite uneven moveset, where it seems like some hits come out faster and some hits doesn't. But to be honest, I really like this weapon. Its unique attack is a block, which you can use. I've used it on roofs when there was another team, and I would just sit there blocking until they just decided to go to the objective so I could revive my team. The block can be good at range, but of course it doesn't block melee weapons, or if an explosive goes behind you, you can't block it. And when most fights are in buildings, explosives do go behind you a lot. So the blocking is not that good, as well as people can shoot your feet, so you want to be quite far away from people so they can't shoot your feet. I think if they do buff the Riot Shield, they do need to buff the hitbox of the shield so it actually defends your feet, because you're already slowed down when putting up the shield so people can move away. The Riot Shield is very basic, similar to the sledgehammer. Whenever you attack, you gain a bit of like a leap, a bit of a lunge, which can be very good for keeping engaged on enemies. And I haven't had much problems engaging and disengaging. Since you move the same speed as mediums, it can be quite annoying to get up to mediums, but you can reach them. And for light, you can two-shot them, so if the first hit catches them off guard, your next hit is going to be a lunge, and they probably won't escape it. And with mediums, it only takes like 3 hits to kill, and for heavies, it takes 5 hits, or you can do 4 hits and a bash attack. There is nothing you can really use in your loadout to make the Riot Shield better. You can use mines, and I've gotten a lot of kills with mines, just throwing them at people's faces. But the problem is the mines have just got nerfed a ton by now having a 1.6 arming delay. So they actually have to be used defensively rather than aggressively. But you can run away and place mines behind you, which sometimes works, because a lot of people chase you when you have the Riot Shield, because of course people think that you can't shoot back if they chase you. Like they chase you through the open all the time. So you can place down mines, turn around, block, and a lot of the time they will just run into the mine. Going to the last weapon, the sledgehammer. The sledgehammer unique attack kinda acts similar to the thrust attack, as it's a very good damaging attack, and you can do some combos with basic attacks and then into heavy attacks. But it also has a function to break down walls. You can hit under cash out points to make them fall down, and you can patch up walls with the goo gum. you can use the goo gun, and you can actually shoot the goo at people to trap them in, and then you can do the overhead to break the goo in them. The goo will eventually break if someone's stuck in it, but it does give you time to get up close and do a lot of damage. The sledgehammer light attack also has the lunge feature, similar to the riot shield, so a lot of the combos is using a light attack to start out with to get close to opponents. To kill lights, you can just do a single overhead. It's really quick, and when I am in fights with other lights using swords and daggers and they keep on dashing at me, I just do a heavy and they dash straight into it. It's really fun just one-shotting lights. And then of course you've got the RPG, so you can one-shot lights from far away. You can just destroy lights. And then, as his other gadgets, you can use the pyro grenade, the dome shield, or what I like instead of the pyro grenade is the C4. The C4 is just a more powerful breach charge on the light. And you can throw the C4 onto objects and then just throw it at people and detonate it. This is called the nuke.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around. Can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down, ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Whether you're ready or not, time for
For medium, you can do an overhead and a bash does 240 damage, and they have 250 health. So if they've already been hit by something, that can kill mediums pretty quickly. But medium, similar to the riot shield, is pretty weird with combos. But you can just do a basic attack into overhead, or you can do a couple basic attacks into a bash, or you could just charge, which we'll get to later. For heavies, you've got probably one of the cleanest combos. You can do an overhead into a basic attack into a bash in any order, and just killing heavies in 3 hits is just insane. Talking about damage, you do 90 damage per hit, which is the highest damage. The overhead does 200 damage, which again, that's just really high damage, really good damage. And then of course you can knock down buildings and get people stuck in the buildings. How you want to engage with people is of course you can use the goo gun or break buildings, but my favourite way is the charge. The charge can hit multiple times and you can smash people through walls with it, and after you hit them you can jump to turn it into a slam. If you do the charge in midair, it's already a slam, but if you're in a charge and you jump, you can change it into a slam, and you can pull out some dirty combos by charging into people and then doing an overhead. Now, time to get to the rankings. In last place, I gotta put the dagger. The dagger can have the highest kill time in the game, but in my opinion, it just doesn't have the range or the consistency of other weapons. In third place has to be the riot shield. Of course, medium's kit doesn't really support the riot shield. Medium kit morely supports just a support role in general, and the riot shield can help with support if you just like blocking a corner, but the fact is people can still shoot your feet or throwing grenades at you. I think the blocking feature of the riot shield needs to be buffed. And then time for the big melee weapons. which one is better, the sword or the sledgehammer? I've put in first place the sledgehammer. I think just the heavy class is much more useful to his team, but also for getting kills overall, I get way more with the heavy class because of the nuke. The nuke is so powerful, plus the fact he has an RPG that can kill lights instantly, and his hammer just does crazy damage. It might be hard to engage with people, but since I'm ranking this based on cash out and tournament, where it's an objective based game, the fact is if the enemy team is on the objective, he's gonna win. He also he has a very good advantage in buildings, and most maps have buildings in this game with the cash out point. So that's why I'm saying the heavy's the best, and the sword's definitely the second best, or might be the best. I've seen videos of people just destroy teams with the sword, and I'll definitely recommend giving it a try.